Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again. And that must mean that I am Professor Robert E.G. Black, and this is the Groundhog Day Project.
It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
It's a thing where the same day keeps happening.
Time.
I wake up every day right here, right in Punxsutawney, and it's always February 2nd.
The last revision is what counts, apparently.
We're on minute 66 of Groundhog Day, and we got some death, we got room for some philosophy. I'm doing it without sources, so who knows how that'll go. And barely any dialogue in this minute. What, 3 lines? Yeah, 3 lines of dialogue. And a nice little bit of trivia that you might not notice. We start the minute with Phil plugging the toaster in the bathroom at the Cherry Street Inn. It has 4 slices popped up, ready to go, to become, well, slices of bread, gonna become toast. They won't this time, though, because, well, I don't know what happens to bread when it's in water that gets electrified. Does it get burned? I doubt it. I imagine the, what's that called? Plugs in bathrooms tend to be a little fancier than plugs elsewhere, but the Cherry Street is an older building, and it's rural Pennsylvania in 92 when they're filming. I don't know if the am I going to cheat? I'm going to cheat. Hold on. Okay. You didn't have to hold on for very long. I'm back. I just went and hit really quick play on the first second of the minute because I had to double check the plug. This plug is not specially grounded. If you have a plug in your bathroom and it's got like a little buttons on it, that is part of a reset system for the problem of a short, which is what happens when, for example, you put the electrical appliance like a toaster's not normally in the bathroom, but a hairdryer, a curling iron, whatever else electrical you might have in your bathroom, depending on how it's made. If that gets dropped in the water, then you get a short in the electricity, and that short is what electrocutes you. The electricity has nowhere to. I might not be exactly talking about these right. I might be conflating 2 processes, the short and the electrocution. But basically, when you get electrocuted because something goes in the water, it's because the electricity is going into the water and has nowhere to go. So it goes into your body to try to get out. And you get electrocuted and die. Probably. If the thing shorts fast enough and shorts back into... Wait, is that not how that works? I wish I had looked this one up, because now I'm not sure how a short affects backward into the plug. Because what will happen is the thing will short and then can fry the electrical going up back into the cord and into the plug and into the wall, which is why the lights flicker down below when we cut to the dining room. Is also why you can get sparks when you plug into a plug that isn't grounded properly. It's that the electricity is confused, essentially. And electrocution is, the electricity is not confused, you are just giving it a dead end, wrong place to go. So Phil drops the toaster in the water. He's still in his pajamas. Presumably this is right after he woke up. Actually, it has to be, because the same people are in the dining room. The family in the corner, the couple in the middle. It's a couple with an older person, right? Yeah. And a couple on the left. So it is between 6 and 7:20 in the morning. We don't know the exact time. We don't know how long it takes Phil to get ready. We just know that for whatever reason, it takes him an hour and 20 minutes from when he wakes up to when he's arriving at Gobbler's Knob. So this is sometime in that. If the Cherry Street is not that far from Gobbler's Knob in their reality, then it's probably like 7. I assume it is more like 6:05, 6:10. Like he literally went straight down, which implies to me, working backward, that he also gets ready really fast. So I am actually... This moment, makes me wonder even more, what is Phil doing in that hour and 20 minutes it takes him to get to Gobbler's Knob? Does he stop for breakfast, like a sit-down breakfast every day, somewhere? He's staying at a bed and breakfast. They have free food. It's not fancy food. If you look at the buffet behind it, it's got, obviously, the toaster. Well, not currently. It's got toaster, it's got little boxes of cereal, it's got pastries, probably some Danishes or something. There's orange juice, there's coffee. They probably have other things. The Cherry Street has, is it 5 guest rooms? Altogether 6, 5 or 6. Go to season 2. I did a whole talk about this house and what it's like now as a bed and breakfast, what it was then. Structurally, I think that's what it's got. It's 5 guest rooms. Maybe 6. Which means, let's see, we got the family. We got 3 tables in here. Well, plus the table in the corner with the old people. They're probably not sharing a room. There's 2 people sitting out in the hallway, plus Chubby Man went upstairs, plus Phil. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7 rooms in the reality of the film. And probably more, because I'm guessing all the old people, even though they're hanging out together now and hang out later watching Jeopardy, are not staying in the same room. So in the reality of the film, it probably has 8 or 9 rooms. The building is not quite big enough for that, but we never see the back of the building in the film. We only see the front and... Actually, we don't even see the side, do we? We get a slight angle, but because of the trees and everything, we don't really see how far back the building goes. So in the reality of the film, Cherry Street Inn is bigger than the actual building. Phil drops the toaster in the water, lights flicker in the dining room downstairs, and you should note, well, you probably didn't note, and this isn't the interesting trivia, this is less interesting, but it is trivia. The tapestry on the wall by the family in the corner on the right. Because we didn't really get to read it earlier, I don't think, when we got an angle on the dining room many minutes ago. This was the first time I noticed that I could read it. Now, in retrospect, I can't remember if it is actually readable earlier or not. But this is the moment where I noticed it once. And I'll point it out now. It says unselfishness. It's weird. It's actually an odd tapestry, and I don't mean that it's weird that the tapestry is weird. I mean that it is weird that they have this, because the tapestry doesn't have a picture on it. It's just kind of, here's a banner with the word unselfishness across the middle, in a lot of empty space. It's like an incomplete meme in tapestry form, because there's not really a message. It just says unselfishness, and it's in the corner of the dining room. And you gotta wonder, in the reality of the film, why is it hanging there? Is it Mrs. Lancaster who put that there? Is she trying to instill unselfishness in the people who stay at the Cherry Street? That does sound like her. She's nice. She's polite. She's eager to strike up conversation with her guests. She watches Jeopardy with them later. So she spends time with them, makes an effort. She asks them questions. She asks Phil when he's checking out. Useful information for her as the business operator, maybe owner, but also just useful as a person. She cares about these people and cares that they are her guests. Is she making a living off of them? Sure, but also she's chose to make a living doing hospitality in her home for strangers. So she cares. So the first sign you should notice here in this minute, unselfishness in the corner. In the reality of the filmmaking, who put this here? Obviously, set decorators in charge of this kind of thing, but is this something Harold Ramis requested since he was I want to say non-practicing, but I'm not sure you have to be practicing in this. He's a Buddhist. Was this an idea he wanted conveyed in the background as this sort of subconscious thing? And why do we see it so clearly in this minute when Phil is killing himself? Is it unselfish for Phil to kill himself, or is it selfish? Like, who's the unselfish person here? Is Phil being selfish right now? Is he selfish normally? Yes. Is he egocentric, selfish, sarcastic prick? Absolutely. He's an asshole. But the universe is breaking him. The time loop is breaking him. The Pennsylvania polka is wearing him down. And I don't mean literally the song and having to hear it every morning. I mean the metaphor. His time loop is the Pennsylvania polka. And it has broken him, but he has to keep breaking. He has to come to... I wrote in my blog once about the 5 stages of grief. People often misconstrue how they work. They aren't necessarily in order. And just because you start to get to acceptance doesn't mean you can't drop right back to denial if something doesn't work out right. You can jump back and forth. You can repeat depending on how the process is going. It's just that those are the parts of the process, and you can study those parts of the process. Phil needs to accept his death, not just participate in it. Killed himself last minute by driving a truck off a cliff, driven by sadness, depression, probably some lingering rage at just being in this time loop. He lashed out at the groundhog, and arguably he was lashing out at everyone, all of the inner circle, and all of Punxsutawney for having this festival, lashing out at his bosses and his producer, Rita. cameraman Larry, for putting him in the situation. Like, you get stuck in a time loop in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, and at a certain point, you like the time loop, but you wish the time loop was in Pittsburgh. Or you wish the time loop was while you're on vacation in New York or LA. So you have more things to do. Or you wish it was 30 years in the future and there were tons of streaming services, and at least when you got bored, you'd have something to watch. That was one of my reasons to repeat a day forever once. One of my early ones in the blog, because I would end blog entries with today's reason to repeat a day forever. And one of them was just to get through my watch list, which at the time, because we're talking 2013, that was probably just Netflix. Now it would be my watch list on Prime, my watch list on Netflix, my watch list on Disney+, very short watch list on Apple. And then on Just Watch, I have mini watch lists, some are very long. I'm currently rewatching the MCU, all of it. So I have a list for that, including the TV shows. I'm still watching/rewatching as many slasher films as I can find. Currently, my list still has hundreds on it, and I've already watched hundreds in the last couple of years. I have a list for slashers that aren't streaming, just so I don't keep looking them up. I put them on a separate list if they're not streaming. What else on my watch list currently? I had set up a watch list because I rewatched Mission Impossible series before the new one. I rewatched the John Wick movies before Ballerina came out. I didn't end up rewatching the Jurassic Park movies, but I considered it. So briefly I had a list for that, and then deleted the list. Earlier this year when David Lynch died, I rewatched all of David Lynch's features, plus like 20 of his short films that I could find on YouTube. I probably missed some. Pretty sure I missed some. But it's hard to remember which I missed or didn't miss. Whatever my other lists are. That's not important. The thing is, I make lists and have lots of watch lists, so if I had a time loop, I would have plenty to watch. But I'd also probably get bored of watching things, because I would watch things all day, just like right now. I'm not watching things all day. I kind of did yesterday, because it was a Sunday and I didn't have any work to do. I didn't have any projects I was working on that weren't screen-related. So I was on the computer editing some images, and then I was watching some TV shows and a couple movies. A couple breaks during the day, but mostly it was just watching things all day. And I can do that. I was going to say I'm good at that. It's not necessarily something to brag about, but I am good at that. But if I was doing it every day, I would need to get out of the house. I would need to go to a park. I would need to try a new coffee place or a new restaurant for dinner. I would need to go to some musicals, and I've gone to a few in recent weeks. Or some plays. I haven't seen a play in a little while. Unselfishness. Is the movie about that? I think it is a little bit. The movie wants us to be better people, and one of the ways Phil has to be better is to not be selfish. Even though on the final iteration of Groundhog Day in the film, Phil is still sarcastic and making jokes, but he is not lashing out at people. He's not directing. He's not hurtful or cruel in what we can see. He is not making it all about him. He is not the prima donna. Even though he is up on stage and he's the center of the show. Up on stage, everyone's paying attention to him. And then he comes down and dances, and then it's time for the auction, which puts him right back up on stage and center again. But he's just having a good time and letting people enjoy the event that's already happening. The auction's going to happen. He just happens to be now part of it. The banquet is going to happen. It's just someone, I guess Mary was playing piano before, and now she has him do it because he's better than her. We'll talk more about this when we get to Mary in the movie, but for those of you listening now who are like, oh yeah, Mary, why does she call him her student and all that? Shut up, first of all. My argument and my headcanon is that she knows he's in a time loop because at some point he tells her and he proves it to her. And then he proves it to her every day and keeps getting lessons from her. So he is her student, even if she can't remember all the lessons. She does know the lessons exist, I think, because that would be the nice thing to do. And at that point in the process, Phil is doing the nice thing, the kind thing. So give her the bragging rights. That's what he would do. He's not just showing off. He's showing off and Mary can brag about it. And he's just giving the people good music to dance to. Just watch Debbie dancing in that final banquet scene and tell me she's not having a good time. She also might be having a seizure, but that might be offensive to say. Go watch it. I put a clip of it on YouTube, actually, I believe. Just look up Groundhog Day, Debbie dancing, and I think you'll find my clip. So we're in the dining room, Mrs. Lancaster carrying a pitcher, walking toward camera, pauses at the lights and says, "Oh my God." Does she know what happened? Huh. I was going to say maybe, but no, I think she does. I think she absolutely does. He just came down in his pajamas and stole the toaster. And then the lights flicker. Old building like this in the middle of winter, there might also be some groaning from the pipes when he ran the shower. And she knows the shower was running, or the bathtub. She knows where he is. She knows what's happening. I think her "oh my God" is very clear. She knows. Cut to day 27. 27th iteration of Groundhog Day that we have seen in the film. That doesn't mean it's the 27th day of Phil's time loop, but it's at least the 27th day of the time loop. And it doesn't matter what the actual number is, I just like to put a number in there because it makes it easy to remember where we are in the process of the film. The numbering for the film matters because then you're talking about film structure and story structure. And we are exterior. Oh no, did I put this wrong? I numbered this incorrectly. I will hang my head in shame and I will never speak again. Note to me editing, put a really, really long, awkward gap here. Just silence. Actually, if it takes so long, maybe put in the Jeopardy music or some other elevator music. Maybe instrumental version of "Girl from Ipanema." Now, I probably didn't do any of that. I probably just left that in because I thought it was funny. But if I put in music, haha, we'll see if I can make this the longest episode of the show. Yeah, actually, it probably will be anyway because there's more in this minute, but I just realized I screwed up the numbering because for minute 66, I have "oh my God," day 27, interior morgue, and then more dialogue. But in between the "oh my God" and the morgue scene, we get the truck scene and the tower scene. Tower scene presumably can be the same day as the morgue, but I should have put the tags for the scenes here to keep the numbering properly, which means the numbers on here are going to be wrong when next minute I say we're on day 28. Because day 20... Let me scroll up. Oh, it's not the numbering that's wrong. It's the lack of inclusion. Because last minute I had day 25, which was he waking up in the bedroom, cut to dining room, go into this minute. Day 26 would be the truck. It's not in here because there's no dialogue. I don't think my numbering is wrong. I just forgot to put day 26 in here. Or rather, chose not to put it in here because this is a dialogue transcript. Nothing else. Well, not nothing else, because there are some tags for where the scenes are. So, day 26, Phil is stepping into the street in front of the... Oh, what's the truck called? No good movers, no end mover, no something movers. Brain, remember. No end? No, that doesn't make any sense. No stop. No stop movers, or no stop moving. Which, of course, that's something they put on this truck, so it is a deliberate choice to have the truck that doesn't stop and hits Phil and gives him a stop. It's called no stop. This is a block off the square on the east side of the square. If you have by chance ever looked at the deleted scene, I have it on YouTube, with the little girl that he saves from the truck. That is filmed on the little side street that gets from the square to here. This was for personal anecdote, this was the last location in Woodstock that I got a picture of. Because I had forgotten to get a picture of this intersection here. And then I remembered it when I was at the Starbucks at like 6 a.m. on the Monday after that Groundhog Day weekend, when I was getting ready to drive into Chicago and go to catch my flight. I remembered that I forgot to get this picture. So I went over there, and I believe it was 3 degrees below zero that morning, which was pretty cold and crisp. But still, I walked around the square and over a block away, and then back to where my car was by the Starbucks. I think that morning I may have parked in the same spot where the van was parked a couple minutes ago, actually. Deliberately. Phil, steps in front of the truck and does a little, blinking jazz hands thing for whatever reason. Could probably have a whole conversation exploring what the hand thing is for. Why does he do it? I think in a weird way, it suggests that he's enjoying this. Like this morning, day 26, or minimum of day 26. He got up, he got dressed-ish, walked to Gobbler's Knob. Well, we don't know that this is a block off the, you can't see the bowling alley in the background. All the way back where the cross street is that you can see, the bowling alley is right there, but I think it's just slightly to the left. So you can't see it. So we don't know where this is in the context of the movie's Punxsutawney. I know that it's only a short block off the square, because I've been there. It's definitely not in the residential area where the Cherry Street is. We've seen the street going away from there. We've seen that it is definitely a residential area. So businesses like we're seeing here, going to be at least a few blocks away. So Phil got up, got dressed-ish, and walked several blocks to get hit by a train. Not the train, sorry. He could have actually walked a shorter distance and got hit by the train, except maybe that train later tonight is the only one that comes through town today. He wants to die earlier. But he tried electrocution. That's the thing. Kind of like the little jazz hands thing. Phil is enjoying killing himself. This is a problem. He was depressed, but by killing himself, he's actually pulling himself out of the depression. It's like I lived with a girlfriend for a little while before I got together with my wife, and it wasn't going well. The relationship had a lot of problems, and it was kind of self-destructive, and I was self-destructive in it. But there was this thing when I finally made the decision and figured out that I was going to be leaving, because it was in another state, and I was going to be going back home to Los Angeles, and we were ending the relationship. Suddenly, there was all this pressure taken off, and it just felt better. The weird thing was, when it felt better and we actually got along that last, day or two, I feel like that could have backfired. And feeling good about it could have made me think, oh no, this is okay and I can stay. In retrospect, I'm glad it did not. I'm glad that I got away from there. I'm glad that I got together with my wife, 6 months later-ish. And that we're together still, many years later. But it could have gone badly, and it could go badly for Phil, because he is enjoying the thing that shouldn't be joyful. Well, maybe enjoying is the wrong word, but he's definitely having fun with it. He killed himself with the toaster, and he could just do that every morning. He knows Mrs. Lancaster isn't going to stop him. He might even be able to find an easier way to kill himself. The right metal object stuck in a plug in his room, he doesn't even have to go down to the dining room. Not that this is an advice show for people who want to commit suicide, but once you're in that mindset, it will alleviate some of the stress, some of the pressure. And for Phil, that could be bad, because then he had his adolescent phase of the time loop, and he's almost got a new adolescent phase in a way, because he's trying out different ways of dying. What's the point of that? From his perspective. From the movie's perspective, it's amusing. Dies by toaster in the bathtub. He dies by stepping in front of a truck. Then in this minute, day 27, he dies by doing a swan dive off of the Punxsutawney Hotel. Pennsylvania Hotel, sorry. Which, by the way they filmed it, the close-up of Bill Murray up there is just filmed on the opposite side of the tower. And he's 4 or 5 feet above the edge of part of the roof, which had a mat in case he fell. So he could just lean out and look like they get a really good establishing close-up that he is up there, which is nice. And they just filmed it on the other side where it was safe. Then you get to, I want to say him as Harold Lefevre? Harold? The stuntman.
I think the stuntman who does this fall is a guy named Rick Lefevre. We told him we want him to swan dive and hold his position as long as he could. He's falling into like a 12-foot airbag.
Who is still a stunt coordinator today, I believe. So he's still doing this stuff. I don't know that he's jumping off of things anymore. He might be too old. He wasn't told to jump like this. He just had to jump. They had a mat down below, and he was just supposed to jump, and then he did this nice swan dive.
Jumping in from editing because what the fuck? I just inserted the clip from the commentary track of Harold Ramis saying that he told him to do the swan dive. But in my brain, the way I remembered it was that it was from the commentary track that I learned that he wasn't told to do the swan dive all fancy-like, and that was his choice. Whichever it is.
What's cool is the swan dive buys into what I'm saying about this whole minute is Phil is killing himself not necessarily as an embrace of death. That may be where it started, and that may be arguably where it ends. But in the middle, it's almost too fun, and it's almost still an extension of his adolescent phase of the time loop. But the film takes it seriously. We get interior. I put morgue on here, but it is not the morgue, I don't think. It is just a room in the hospital. And I say that because this is the same room in the hospital we will see later. This same bed where Phil is dead is the same bed where he wants to see the old man's chart later. Phil dies, or his dead body is laid under the same sheet that the old man is later. Phil's dying in the morning, so probably on this very day, the old man will be in this bed later today. They die in the same place. Oh no, the old man only ends up in the bed when Phil helps him get to the hospital. So no, he won't be in this bed today. But also he will be because time loop. I apologize for making that confusing. On any given day, he's dying in the alley, right? But so Phil is in the same position as the old man. Life has broken him. Circumstances created a thing where he can't advance, he can't change himself, he can't do something different. As far as he can see it, he's in just as much of a rut as the homeless guy or as Ralph. That about sums it up for me. Just look at the pathos, man, in that scene. Ralph means it. So, we're in this hospital room. They pull back the sheet to show Phil. No, we cut and we're looking at him, and then they push the sheet down. Is that it? I think I'm reversing the action here. Anyway, they see him, and Rita says that's him. She's identifying the body. There is a version of the script, by the way, where the tower Phil jumps off of, the building he jumps off the roof, is the very building where Ned's office is, and Ned is in his office and Phil drops past the window. Which is funny as a visual, but also you don't necessarily want outright funny on your suicide moment. Rita says that's him, and then Larry just has to talk, and the minute will cut off his sentence, but I'm not going to because his sentence is hilarious and kind of gets us out of this depression phase of the film. It didn't last very long. It gave us an exciting car chase to get into it, and then death, death, death in 2 minutes. And that was a weird accidental reference to my own screenplay, Death, Death, Death. I didn't even mean to say that, but I caught it. Go listen to my show, not currently releasing new episodes, but still the episodes are out there. The first syllable where I talk about Death, 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 one of my screenplays. Larry says he was a really, really great guy. I really, really liked him. The minute ends, but the end of the sentence. A lot. Which is fantastic. Very exemplary of Harold Ramis kind of writing with the double up of the reallys and repeating the thing you don't really mean. Because Larry doesn't mean this. Did he like Phil? I think on some level, yes. But did he like Phil? No. And so the minute ends with, well, we're in the middle of the only scene in the film that arguably Phil isn't in, depending on how you look at it. It's the only scene that shows us what happens after Phil is out of the loop. Until the end of the movie, of course. Anyway, sorry for the long episode. I didn't expect that because there's hardly anything in this minute, but I also thought it might happen. And it did. Until next time, I don't know, go watch a movie, go take care of the people around you that are having trouble, and take care of yourself.
You were gonna say that.
This has been a production of Lemming Drops Studio. You can find links to more at lemmingdrops.com or join the Facebook group Lemming Drops Studio Tour. Also, you can support all my shows at patreon.com/lemmingdrops.
What is wrong in the end which never comes? Or which comes again and again, lapping, like waves.
Since the Big Bang set everything in motion, everything that happens in this universe has to be the way it is. Particles unfolding the way they're destined to.
How do you sleep at night? You've never seen Groundhog Day?
Yeah, you know Groundhog Day is not a documentary.
Remember when Groundhog Day was just a movie?